Are the Illuminati real? And if so, why haven't I been invited? Garfield, where are you? I know you know. I know you know. Now, for those of you experiencing this,
I don't know if you've had this, but I've had people throw millions of dollars in my face to do something I didn't want to do. And what? Just, you've been off, yeah. Oh, they're in the room.
Yeah, I don't know.
They just found the first plant in Antarctica, and that shit's in the Bible. And plants are starting to grow.
They literally just found Noah's Ark, and the nails in Noah's Ark. They found Jesus' blood still alive.
They found plants in Antarctica. Do y'all know what that means? The seal has been broken. We're in the end times. Get right with God today.
So you
found plants in Antarctica.
You sound like them billboard ads.
All right, and y'all gonna see a billboard ad when Jesus comes slide down with the army, and y'all gonna be like,
That's
gonna be turned.
One of the most majestic
It's over with. We in the end times. And it's about to be the third. The solar, hey, y'all know how the solar eclipse coming? The last 2 times it was a solar eclipse over the U.S., it was a war.
I just gotta stop because I've been hearing shit about that. It scares me.
It should scare you. It's over with.
I know. Apparently it's like the end of the world.
At least we gonna get to do BB relays.
It's like the end of the world.
So y'all know how Walmart's been mysteriously closing. This is an abandoned Walmart. Now what does this look like to y'all? This is an abandoned Walmart, a closed down Walmart. What does it look like?
So do y'all remember when I talked to y'all about Black Mirrors, right? Imagine you looking at this Black Mirror, which is on my phone right now and on the TV that you've been watching for 2 hours. And not to mention that the portals that are being opened while you're watching the movie. There are many different ways these entities can infiltrate your spirit. Portals can be opened from water, mirrors, your TV, walking into specific energetic places. Y'all gotta really be careful because there's a lot of spiritual warfare going on right now. They just looking for a way to feed off energy from you. I'm telling y'all right now, especially in this time, be very careful with your energy. Because there are entities, beings on the other side trying to infiltrate your mind. People like him were not born evil. These negative entities take advantage of the low vibrational feelings that you feel on this plane. They come to you through your friends, your parents, frustrating situations that could possibly make you even more angry or even more lower. So they can take over and turn you into something that you don't even recognize. Nobody just wakes up and wants to kill children. Whenever you feel low thoughts or thoughts that you haven't thought about in a while, something that's trying to trigger you and bring you back to that lower state that you were in the past. If you start to feel anxiety, overthinking about things you shouldn't be thinking about, you start to feel like this world is helpless. Your thoughts are not your own. Your mind has been infiltrated by one of these beings. And this is a prime example. Mind infiltration is very real. With the world changing and the laws and the things that's illegal now, these entities can't infiltrate people like they used to. Now, back in the day, it was very, very easy for them to be able to do heinous things in order to feed that negative energy. Just think about it. All that negative energy that these people have produced on this earth. Crowds, kids, showing up just to watch somebody get tortured. You don't think that was evil and negative entities walking around?
All right, peep this because it's important. Slavery was a ritual. Rape equals humiliation. Lynching equals blood sacrifice. New names equal detachment from ancestral roots. Torture equals psychic attack. Biblical brainwashing equals loss of spiritual power. Slavery was a spell that bred the dysfunction as a community.
I want y'all to realize that all of the people that he killed, holding on to their bones, eating them, that's not what a regular human would do. That energy absorption was an infiltrated entity, and he let that entity take control of him. Same thing. Same thing. Everything that is done is just an exchange of energy. Even watching this is an exchange of energy. I told you, your mind is like a sponge. Everything that you let into your aura, your reality, your mind, your influence, you absorb it. That's why it's good to keep positive energy around you and vibrate on that level. Really be careful and recognize when you are not in control of yourself. Sometimes your thoughts are not your own. That is the dark side of these situations. Especially to go as far as to intake flesh like that. I told y'all, when y'all eating meat, it's just transferring dead energy into you. Whatever that animal felt at the time of their death, that is what you're taking in. The violence it took to get your need. The violence it took to get his need. Be careful with yourselves. Stay dangerous.
In the town, he just was never privy to it. Yeah. He never had access to that sort of information.
I call it the room with the door behind it. You never get to that door. We always got through the first door, and we were so excited about being in that room that we never looked at the next door, right? I'm gonna stop right here. We're back. This is still Heart to Heart, and I'm still talking to Jay-Z. There's a moment in time.
Did this song from 1969 predict the events of 2024? This theory says yes. So back in 1969, there was a song that was released called Age of Aquarius, Let the Sun Shine In by a band named The Fifth Dimension. In their lyrics, they speak very specifically about what the Age of Aquarius is and what will happen during the Age of Aquarius. Now, for those of you that don't know, the Age of Aquarius just began on January 20th of 2024. The band detailed that during the Age of Aquarius, there will be harmony and understanding, sympathy, trust abounding, and no more falsehoods or lies. And at the very beginning of 2024, the Age of Aquarius, this is already happening. There has been news about aliens and extra-dimensional beings, billionaires and millionaires coming out and being candid about their preparation for the end of the world by building bunkers, big governments and individuals being exposed for lying, cheating, stealing, and hurting other people. And most importantly, news about World War III has been coming out day after day, warning us that something big is about to happen and that our world will change forever. Now, although some are hopeful for the Age of Aquarius, others are actually very fearful of it because some believe that the world will end during the Age of Aquarius, which is right around now. Now, whether you believe in astrology or if this band was right or wrong, none of that matters. We do see that something is changing and happening in our world right now, and we have to be prepared for it. So are you prepared for the Age of Aquarius and what's to come? Tell me what you think in the comments.
Okay, so are we going to talk about CERN, the multiverse, dreams, the Mandela effect? I watched Multiverse of Madness last night, and this scene really got to me.
Dreams are windows into the lives of our multiversal selves.
That was his theory.
So that recurring nightmare where I'm running naked from a clown.
Somewhere out there. It's real.
Somewhere out there.
I've always said that dreams are literal portals to an unknown world. We're stepping into the bodies of the different universes of ourselves. Have you ever had a dream where you realized that it was a dream and you instantly woke up? What if that means the consciousness of that universe pushed you out and back to your original body? The thought that there are alternate versions of ourselves based off the different decisions that we make. If you've ever watched Rick and Morty, this theory is explained so good. Do y'all remember Star Labs in The Flash, which gave people powers, multi-dimensional travel? Well, CERN is doing something like that. They might open a portal to another universe. Now, in 2012, CERN used this particle accelerator. You know, 2012 when the Mayan calendar said that the world would end? But some people think at this time CERN caused our realities to merge with another universe. Hence why some things are different than what we remember. Because I swear it used to say Jiffy on the peanut butter. In the movie, there's an ability called dream walking, which you meditate and jump into the body of that version of you in a different universe. When you travel to that universe, it kind of looks like you're traveling through brain cells, which would explain why our brain cells look like the universe. This might be too much to take in for some people, to fathom that there are alternate universes and versions of ourselves. There's an exact scene how people's minds go crazy after they realize this.
It's fine. Everything is fine. There's an infinite number of realities, Morty. And in a few dozen of those, I got lucky and turned everything back to normal. I just had to find one of those realities in which we also happen to both die around this time. Now we can just slip into the place of our dead selves in this reality, and everything will be fine.
Morty was literally freaking out. But tell me what y'all think about all of this. Stay dangerous.
It's just a cigarette and it cannot be that bad.
Honey, don't you love me and you know it makes me sad.
It's just a cigarette like you always used to do.
I was different then, I don't need them to be cool.
Are the Illuminati real? And if so, why haven't I been invited? Garfield, where are you? I know you know. I know you know. Now, for those of you experiencing this,
I don't know if you've had this, but I've had people throw millions of dollars in my face to do something I didn't want to do. And what? Just, you've been off, yeah. Oh, they're in the room.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, let's do it. Yes, y'all, my blinds are closed. Today we are going to talk about the movie The Incredibles and how it connects to today's society. Now, as we know, The Incredibles is about a superhuman family that tries to save the world. In the beginning, it was just two of them. They were using their powers, helping people, saving the world, until the government and the news media started to hate them. They were supposedly taking away the jobs of police and firefighters and all that, until they made it illegal to be a superhero. He hated his life. He tried to be domestic. He tried to have a job. He got married. He had kids and all of that. He tried to live the regular life as a human. But it just wasn't it. He knew he could be more. Now, why do I say this? We all are living just like Bob. We have so much greatness that we can create, but we want to sit at a desk. Don't believe me? So it is said over 90% of our DNA is junk. Because it's not activated, we don't use it. It's just sitting in our bodies just doing nothing, huh? What if the food that we eat and the air that we breathe is constantly blocking us from those powers? So we can't be like the Incredible. Y'all have to understand that there are things put in place to keep you at the specific level in your life that you are right now. You are so much more than trying to memorize the front register. Do more and be more. It shouldn't just be school, work, family, die. They need things to keep running the way it is. They want us to be just like Bob when he was working and he was over it and he had them powers and he didn't get to use them. Because it messes up what they want and they have. It works out for them if we're just docile and we don't pay attention to things. Everything will be okay if you just do everything their way. Don't do anything extraordinary, just be normal and don't do nothing but work. And then groom your kids, take them to school and make them work just like you. Don't be like this. Don't use your powers. Be in the system. But y'all be safe. So, are we just gonna ignore that the CIA has done experiments on our minds? Like really, how powerful are we? There was testings of our minds on thousands of Americans. Astral projection, telekinesis, telepathy. Our minds can create split personalities. There was a report of a German woman who had never left Germany, who had split personalities, and she starts speaking fluent French out of nowhere. Could this woman have possibly connected to her past lives, where she was a French woman? In astral projection, you can travel through time. Do we fully understand what we're dreaming? Is it us traveling to different dimensions, different worlds while we're asleep? Do we really understand what we're capable of? Certain people can harness advanced brain power. Unexplained videos of people lifting rocks out of the ground. Movies of people having superpowers. Even in TV shows. People who have claimed to get money, whatever they want, through a mind trick called manifestation. Can this prove that we are multi-dimensional beings? Loud pitch ringing in our ears that are unexplainable. Is schizophrenia people's minds being disturbed by negative entities? Why does our brain cells look like the universe? We have to stop thinking that everything is physical. Some people feel that we actually don't have a soul. But according to CIA documents, there are so many things that our soul can do. So what do we really know about brain power? Just my thoughts though, so y'all stay dangerous.
As hard as I've tried, I just can't get this out of my head. After the past 5 years, after the massive economic implosion in 2020, after everything we went through, after all the uncertainty, the stimulus spending, job losses and layoffs, after all of the inflation that came from it, we're finally in a good place with solid GDP growth, low unemployment, inflation's flattened out. After all that pain, Trump tells us that he's going to appoint Elon Musk to run a government efficiency council if he's elected president. And the first words out of Musk's mouth are that Americans might need to endure some temporary economic hardship and that we need to learn to live within our means. Are you fucking kidding me right now, Elon? It's pretty fucking rich coming from a billionaire who just spent $35 million on a compound for all of his children and wives to tell us middle-class families that we need to learn to live within our means. After living through the Great Recession, daycare bills, job changes, job losses, unemployment, and then 2020, after living through the last 4 years, I think I'm just going to vote for the person who was part of creating that GDP growth, part of reducing unemployment, part of reducing inflation. You can keep your compound with Trump and all your wives and all your children, and I'll keep my middle class life. Thank you.
Jesus Christ, the Adam and Eve video, how much of that is agreed upon? That there could be a time where the magnetic poles actually shift?
This is science. They say that the last one was like 778,000 years ago, and we're like something like 200,000 years overdue. But the Adam and Eve story, the theory of that is that it happens in cycles of 6,500 years, and that it's a 90-degree flip, but 6 days later, or on the 7th day, it corrects itself.
The planet flips.
Correct. It's a planet flip 90 degree, and that because of it, the Earth essentially does a standstill. The sun will basically stay in the same spot, causing heating like we've never experienced, and that the wind and the waters continue with their momentum. So the theory is that when that event happens, it's going to be cataclysmic. And here's the wild thing, is that in that document it says a continental-sized tsunami being 2 miles high. Well, I showed you the Emikusi volcano in Africa, in the Sahara, which is at 11,300 feet, that has salt as well as evidence of gastropods, sea lice.
2 miles high.
Yes.
This is really why the UFO stuff is coming to light.
We're kind of preparing the U.S. population, at least, and by extension, the world population, into that reality that there is a presence here, and that we need to explain this presence. Because if they show up and we continue to do what we did before in previous decades, and they show up, there will be mass panic. But if you understand that these are real, and we have 5 years from 2022, or maybe now 4 years, if they come in 2027, for the U.S. government to prepare the people about what is up there. And in many ways, I think the word got out within the government that they're showing up in 2027, and we better be prepared. And if not, there's going to be a lot of explaining to do. And so I think that dialogue has happened within inside the government, in certain areas inside the government, that we need to prepare. And that's why in 2017, that set a clock of 10 years. And why Lou Elizondo earlier in this year said, just find a hobby for 5 years. And, it'll all be out in 5 years. And he said that this year, so that was 2027. And I would say I've heard 2027 in a kind of an official capacity that I can't reveal. So I think I would say that people in the government are aware of something happening, and that there's limited time, a few more years to prepare the people, and that's what's ramping up this acceleration from the previous 7 decades of not even acknowledging it to now we are acknowledging it at a faster and faster pace.
How do one determine their nationality?
From their mother.
But how do you know that you are
One mother's
more?
breath had
How
given-
do you know you are more, what tribe you come from, without taking DNA tests or
Okay,
stuff
fine.
like that?
I'm going to straighten that out for you. First of all, we're going to take the word tribe. Let's get it straight. Tribe is nothing but a family name. That's it. People keep wanting to take this word tribe and make it like, I'm from this tribe and this nation and I'm from that tribe. Get it straight. Tribes are family names of the same people from the same nation. And Moors, if we could get back to the definition that I gave in the beginning, then we would get it. Yes, sir. Okay, you got another question?
What is the woman's role? What is the science of woman in government?
Oh, she's the lawmaker, lawgiver. She lays down the law. I'll give you an example in a very intrinsic way. When you were born in your household, your mother laid down the law. Women run houses. If you ever in the following forces, thank you. If you ever find a house, that's right.
I said that because I was about to say something else.
Yeah, but you only enforce that which was laid down. You only enforce. See, that's the whole thing. People think that when we give this information and we're trying to disrespect, to throw out the sun. No, everything has to be in order, because without that, then it becomes a real problem. But I've met women that say, yeah, the man runs the house, and I'm saying, well, that's a messed up house, because there's no man that runs the house. I mean, if he is running the house, ain't nothing happening. It ain't right. It's not right. Because she's the lawmaker, the lawgiver, and you're the law enforcer. So that's the way that go. Now, she want to make you pretend that.
I think I got to hide that part from my wife.
I bet you do.
Because I'm the lawmaker in the house.
Well, then we need to talk. Because
we need to talk.
You got children?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, but the law that you're laying down, is it her law? Is it the law from your mother?
We both agree with it.
So you make laws. You can't make law. I'm going to tell you why you can't make law.
Tell me why.
Let me tell you why you can't make law. Because the moment that you're born, anybody, that is all law manifested in the flesh. Your law when you get here. And she lays it down. And it's just that simple. Land, angle, and where.
Rockefeller was so amazing. He got most people thinking that most of the schools in Atlanta are HBCU schools.
Rockefeller?
A lot of people think that Spelman is a HBCU school.
It's not?
Nah. You ready?
Spelman's not an HBCU?
Watch what I'm about to tell you. You ready? Spelman is Rockefeller's wife. They dropped the Rockefeller. Spelman.
I don't know if any of this is true, but I'm listening.
You better Google it right now. I know what I'm talking about. Spelman is Rockefeller's wife.
Oh, Laura Spelman Rockefeller. Laura Spelman Rockefeller was an American abolitionist, philanthropist, school teacher, and prominent member of the Rockefeller family. Her husband was Standard Oil co-founder John D. Rockefeller. Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia, and the Lawrence Spelman Rockefeller Memorial were named for her. Okay, you learn something new every day.
So Spelman HBCU is named after a white woman. That's wild. I never knew that.
You see what I'm saying? Ain't that insane?
When did you hear that? Like, what made you do
Years
that
ago,
research?
because I read a lot, and it blew my mind.
In 1884, the school expressed its gratitude for Rockefeller's generosity by changing the name.
Yeah, Spelman College was named after Laura Spelman due to her significant financial contributions to the institution. Throughout her life, Laura Spelman was dedicated to social and educational causes, particularly for women and African Americans.
Yes.
So it's an HBCU. She just donated a lot of money to it. Rockefeller family continues to donate 10% of their income to charity, including substantial donations to Spelman, founded to educate black women. Wow.
And other colleges around there.
Okay.
It's just not Spelman.
Morehouse, too. Henry Lyman Morehouse, who was a Baptist minister from Stamford, New York.
Yes.
He's a white gentleman as well.
Yes.
He's a white gentleman.
Why didn't they name it after him? Did they say?
It doesn't say.
You're going to have me researching this all day.
But at least the world is about to see something that, because I'm quite sure if you don't know.
What's the darkest part of history that you've recently discovered?
The real history of what Western Africa was like before white people got there. And I'll give you a thought experiment. You're quite a fit, athletic young man, 23 years of age, okay? Imagine you are a British sailor, okay? Same build you are now. You've been sailing for 3 months on this little wooden ship, eating nothing but hardtack. You got scurvy, you're sick, you're malnutrition, okay? We put you on the coast of Africa. It's 49 degrees, okay? You're in a thick red cotton jacket, and I give you a musket, a gun, a weapon of death. And I say, okay, here we are. I want you and the 60 other men on this boat to go and catch 300 of these big black African dudes from 20 miles inland, but you're not allowed to shoot them. No, you have to get them on the boat without hurting them. Somehow. Think you could pull that off? Me, you, the people in this room? 0% chance. I know you're not allowed to say it.
I have an idea of who could pull it off.
Yeah, but exactly. All the other black people who had all these wars with each other and were waiting on the beach with all their fellow Africans saying, here, take them, give us some more guns, we'll win the next war. That's very dark and it's very scary, especially when you understand how much they're trying today, to this point, to completely use propaganda to tell you it happened the way we were originally taught.
I really just don't think you guys are ready for this conversation. If we really get biblical with it, I promise you, you will never want to go into the ocean again. Because we are separated from the waters above and the waters below by the firmament set by God. The demonic marine kingdom is very much real. And I wouldn't put it past the ocean to have a whole kingdom of demons at the bottom of it. Not to mention the fact that space is actually at the bottom of the ocean, and the aliens that you think you see are demons. Why do you think that Jesus walked on water? Why do you think he calmed the sea? To show dominion over the demonic marine kingdom. Why do y'all think that the demons that were in the pigs begged to go into the water? Because that's their domain. Let's look at the very beginning of the Bible. In the beginning, God made from nothings the heaven and the earth. The earth was an empty waste and darkness was over the deep waters. Satan is darkness. Another verse. Matthew 12:43, when the unclean spirit, aka demons, is gone out of a man, he walks through dry places seeking rest, but he finds none. What's the opposite of wet? Dry. And he can't find a home in dry places, so he has to go to a wet one, aka the water. Why do you think demons like to inhabit humans so much? Because we are 70% water, guys. Are you hearing? y'all ever been on a cruise? I will tell you one thing. The first time I went on a cruise and I was in the middle of the ocean at night, I was so scared. Like, not even because I didn't know what was under me, but I felt this incredible feeling of unease. Like, I was like, I shouldn't be here. I don't belong here. Where is land? Y'all, there is so much to be said about the ocean. I can definitely do a part 2. We can talk about the Leviathan for one. Freaking sirens. There is just so much going on. But it is a wrap for this video. As always, make sure you like and follow and comment down below what you think.
The question is, if there's really a battle between good and evil, are the benevolents more powerful? Do they have more? And do we really have a chance? Oh, gosh. I've been told that if they stuck together, yes, they could resolve this situation here. But there are some significant problems that they have. Now, back in 1985, when I was being told all of this, there were a lot of discussions going on back in Andromeda about what to do with us. Now, half of the Andromedan Council didn't want anything to do with us, and their reasons were this. These were their sole reasons for not wanting to help us. They don't respect their home, they don't respect each other, and they don't respect themselves. What is their value? Now, those that wanted to help, because they have seen us as totally being violated with our free will, somehow convinced them that this was a worthwhile project. Now, intervention not only changes our reality, it changes their reality. And one of the things that the Andromedans and Morane has said specifically is they don't want to come down here and help us when we don't want to help ourselves. Because then they end up babysitting. And if something happens, then we could always blame them. And the cycle starts all over again. This is about self-responsibility. That's what this whole thing is about. There are one group of ETs who say, well, there's no way. You cannot be self-responsible. You cannot rule yourselves. And then we were given this opportunity 200 and some odd years ago to try this experiment. And we succeeded in doing it. But now we're being lulled back into a place where we want somebody to take care of us. And you know that you're going to sacrifice your freedom. I'm not about to do that. So who's going to win? I don't know. I wish I knew. I wish I had a place to hide till it was over, but I don't.
A lot of this to surface. I mean, they've kind of, changed our direction as to what we might have been able to accomplish.
You're right. The question was, she added, that we've been manipulated and they've helped to change us into a different direction. You're absolutely right. However, when I brought that question up to Morane, he looked at me and he said, are you aware that your government is drugging its young people? And I said, well, yes. He says, are you aware of a couple other things that he mentioned which are really sensitive? And I said, well, yes. He says, well, what has your race done about it? I mean, 1986, 1987, West 57th Street, twice in 6 months, showed Air Force personnel unloading bales of marijuana and cocaine off of planes at Hempstead Air Force Base and loading it up with weapons and then taking off for Costa Rica. Twice they showed this on national TV. What happened? West 57th Street was taken off the air and nobody did anything. Again, it comes back to self-responsibility. They are watching us. They are watching us and saying, should we come in and help this race when they don't want to clean up their own act, when they don't want to take care of their own? Do you realize, do you realize that we're the only planet where we allow our own kind to starve? We're the only ones. As big jerks as the Orions are, they take care of their own. They don't let them starve. We do it for money. I can't be bothered. I got an appointment. I got to get my nails done. I mean, it's ridiculous. We have got to make a shift here, big time. And those who don't want to make a shift are going to be checking out. Because the frequency, everything is changing, folks. And I'm not trying to instill fear in you. I'm trying to share with you what they've told me, and they have not been wrong. Things are going to radically change, and it's going to start just like this. It has. You watch November of this year, it's going to get really weird in this country. Really weird. They're going to try to divide us. And because if you divide, you can conquer. And whatever you do, please don't turn on each other. The enemy is underground. They're on the moon. It is not your neighbor. It is not your policeman. He's not the enemy. You know, if you want to do something really constructive and you don't know what to do, just do this one thing. Come November, if there's an election, vote. Whoever's been in office, vote him out. Start over. That will buy us more time. Nothing. Apparently there's been this divine intervention and third density is moving into fifth. Therefore, they say this is going to happen by December of 2013, so the 41 years won't go by. So we've been rescued on some level already. But I don't know how many of us are going to make it. You know, now the world government has been told that we're overpopulated, okay, by the aliens. The truth is.
All right, TikTok, quick story time. Let me tell you about this dream that I have, right? Because not too long ago, I was watching a conspiracy theory, right, that says that the government does a hard reset, right? And like a month or 2, 3 after that, I ended up having this dream, right? And in this dream, at first it's all black, and I can kind of see a little bit, and then I realize that I have a sack over my head, but a black one. And I'm wondering, like, you know, I'm trying to think of like how the fuck I got there, like what's going on. I have no idea, no memory of anything. And this dream was so vivid, it's almost like it was a memory. Not like a dream, it was like something I had already seen and been through. Like, so it was almost like I was there in the moment, but now it's like almost like I remembered it, not dreamt it. So anyway, back to the story. So in this dream, right, this sack's on my head and I get the sack ripped off of my head. And when I look to my right, it's my mom there. And when I look to my left, it's my brothers and sisters. And when I look at my mom, my mother goes, "Remain steadfast in your faith." And I'm like, what the fuck? And I realize that I'm bound by my hands and like this onto my feet, but I'm kneeling on the ground. And when I look, it's like desert. It looks like a desert. And I look around, and when I look around, there's these 2 guys. But they're dressed like this is what they look like. And after my mom said, "Remain steadfast in your face," I'm like confused. I'm like, what the fuck is she talking about? All of a sudden, these guys, they put the barrel to her head, right? And they go, "Who do you believe in?" Ooh, shit gives me chills. They say, "Who do you believe in?" And my mother looks at them with this look of like disgust. Like she's just disgusted with these people. And my mother goes, "I believe in my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ." And all of a sudden you hear, right? So I look, her body fell to the ground. I'm like, what the fuck? And I got like, I'm next. Like I started getting scared, and then a voice popped into my head. And this was before I started getting into the scripture again. Because I had no idea where this voice even came from. There was a voice in my head that said, "Fear not, my child, for you are mine and you are not of this world." After this dream, I ended up reading that in the Bible, right? Just let that sink in for a second. So I heard this voice that said, "Fear not, my child, for you are mine and you are not of this world." So it gave me like this, you know, like this, I'm going to be okay. And all of a sudden, I close my eyes because I know I'm next. I feel the cold of the barrel on my forehead. And then they go, "Who do you believe in?" And I say, with my eyes closed, I said, "I believe in my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ." And all of a sudden you hear, and then my eyes were still closed and I'm still kind of there, right? And I can still hear everything that's going on. Everybody's screaming. My brothers and sisters are screaming. You know, "Oh my God, oh my God." And then I know that the next one's coming. And then I hear the soldier tell, same thing, "Who do you believe in?" And I don't know what sibling it was. Because at this point, I mean, I knew it was my brother and sister, but like there was no face, you know, in dreams you can't really see. So all of a sudden I'm waiting to hear, I believe in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And instead of that, I heard almost like a chant, almost like our forefathers, da 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 da. And then you hear the guy saying, "Attaboy," like, yeah. And then I can't see anything, but I know that they stood whatever sibling that was up and sent them some other place. And I remember being in my head like, no, like, no, what are you doing? But obviously I was already taken out, so I couldn't voice anything. And then all of a sudden when I say, open my eyes, when I open my eyes, I'm awakened here. I don't know what that dream meant, but it really doesn't feel like a dream. It felt like such a memory. And every time I think about it or talk about it, I get an extremely eerie feeling, like I shouldn't be talking about it or like I shouldn't have that memory of it. Has anybody else dreamt something like that? Let me know in the comment section.
This is why I think we're in the year 1727. Hear me out.
I told you that nearly 300 years of history never actually happened. That the year 2024 is actually the year 1727. Welcome to the phantom time hypothesis, the theory that claims we've all been living in a historical lie.
Yep.
Sounds crazy, right?
Yep.
But according to historian Heribert Illig, almost 300 years of the early Middle Ages were fabricated by powerful rulers and the Catholic Church.
Well, why?
That means key events like the reign of Charlemagne and the early Islamic conquests never really happened.
Whoa.
So, why would anyone want to manipulate history? To boost their power, of course. Emperor Otto III, Pope Sylvester II, and the Byzantine Emperor Constantine VII are all accused of creating this phantom time to rewrite history and make it fit their agendas. But here's where it gets really weird. There's evidence that backs this up. Historians have noticed that there's little to no reliable archaeological evidence from this period. Take buildings, for example. Structures that should exist from the 7th to 9th centuries, almost none.
Wow.
It's as if that time period left no mark on the world. Documents, suspiciously absent or unreliable. Some calendars, like the Gregorian calendar, don't quite add up either. It's as if those 300 years were squeezed in later. Think about it. How much of what we know about history is just written down and passed along? And how easily could powerful figures alter that narrative? If 300 years could be fabricated without us ever knowing, what else could be hiding in plain sight? Maybe the medieval period wasn't the dark age we've been led to believe.
Maybe.
Because it didn't happen at all. Of course, this theory has its skeptics. Many historians point out that even if some records are missing, there's still plenty of evidence that suggests these centuries existed. Things like astronomical data don't support the missing years theory. But what if those were altered too? Phantom time, a complete fabrication of nearly 3 centuries, is a conspiracy that raises questions about how much control rulers, historians, and religious institutions might have had over our perception of time. Whether you believe it or not, it forces us to ask one haunting question. And what else could be a lie? If this blew your mind, hit that like button and subscribe for more mind-bending conspiracies.
Stay weird.